do. Fade out. We need to find a way to make that fade out because that kind of sucks that it cuts out so harshly like that. Okay, microphone is ready. We have volume, we have visual, and hello, good evening. How are you all? I hope you are having a fantastic week. It is Wednesday here in Australia, where I am coming at you from live, and we are going to be doing a quick video. God, I was about to say review, but let's be honest, it's probably closer to a reaction. Oh man, I am scum. I am scum. So it has been a while. It has been a while. I've got no excuse. There's no excuses. We are kind of back because we have a bit of a lower impact way to stay engaged on YouTube, which is through YouTube Shorts. So I'm going to start trying to publish a couple of those, particularly since I can actually get that done sort of to and from work. And when I feel like being a bit of a goofball, hopefully it doesn't mess around with the algorithm too much by throwing out that stuff. Usually YouTube is quite interested in pushing new features, and it will highlight things that are taking advantage of those new features. So hopefully it goes well for that. So we'll be trying to post a few more of those. Although I think what I'm going to do for now is switch to TikTok to edit and then bring that over into YouTube, because just the one I posted with the room tour, I had to film that on my phone, use my phone to edit 2 clips together, something super basic. Couldn't figure out how to do that actually on the YouTube Shorts beta. There must be a way, and I need to spend some more time on it. So look out for that sort of stuff. So yeah. Now, interestingly enough, hey Scummy, how's it going? Because I have your chat up here, but I don't have it down here on the actual iPad that I'm trying to use to monitor chat. Wait, no, there it is. There it is. Cool. It's just tiny and possibly useless for what I want it for. So today we are going to be looking at a video that everyone has seen. Everyone has fucking seen it. I know. It came out a year ago. It is the When Woke and Racist Actually Agree. It's in the title, the exact name of the video. And I've had the misfortune of coming across it again on TikTok. Because basically that's where I live now, is TikTok, because it just sort of, there's some happiness in TikTok that doesn't exist in YouTube and Twitter. And maybe that's just me following a lot of cosplayers with lovely assets. But look, I came across it, and I thought it was interesting that it seems to be just the same thing we're hearing currently with discussions, and I say discussions, arguments over things like critical race theory and which one is racist. So I wanted to go back to this video, and I wanted to look at it again and sort of basically just go through it. It's a short video. What is it? 1 minute and 44 seconds. So hopefully it doesn't take too long to go through it on the stream, because I'm trying to keep things a bit tighter. And you know what doesn't keep things tighter is by saying I'm going to try and keep things tighter. It kind of stuffs that whole thing up. But we're going to look at it with the current light. Now this is, what's the guy's name? So Ryan Long, that's the name of the YouTube channel that this airs on. Fuck me, what a boomer moment. That was uploaded to. And it is quite heavily upvoted. So it's got a positive ratio. Now, I remember my initial reaction to this being, I don't think it's done in good faith. It doesn't seem to be the impression most people have of it. So we're going to look at it again and see what we think in 2021. It is almost 1 year later. This was actually uploaded on July 20th. So we're just a bit over a week away from it. Hey Nervardia, thank you for sharing my ghost link when I was fumbling around like a lunatic. So yeah, we're going to have a look. Now, I actually don't know what Ryan Long's politics are. I don't know whether he's leans to the left, leans to the right, whether he's a centrist, whether he's a libertarian. Absolutely no idea, which I almost looked that up before starting this video. But you know what? It occurred to me that would be poisoning the well. So I actually don't know if he is sympathetic to left causes or right causes, or if he abstains and is just critical of the whole circus that is politics. So yeah, maybe I'll look that up after reacting to the video again. So now our transitions are going to work. Fantastic. Fantastic. It's like I've done this before. And hello to Digital Demonic Davos. I almost missed you there as well. I need to figure this out. Like, why is that as big as the text goes? Fuck. It's all right. We'll get there. We keep improving. We keep figuring stuff out. Or at the very least, we keep spending money on stuff. And yeah, we'll get there in the end. Centrist. So you're a coward. No, I'm just kidding. It's all right. When I first started streaming, actually, would have been about 2.5 years ago now, maybe 2 years, I don't know. But when I first started streaming, you'll find streams where I will claim centrism, where I'll claim that I'm centrist economically, but progressive socially. I've tossed that to the side. I'm a big fat lefty now, literally. So this hopefully isn't so much about left and right. This is more about what is racism, how is racism defined, and when is it being defined in a good faith manner versus a bad faith manner. We're going to have a quick listen and see how this goes. God, it feels like I haven't streamed in ages, which is true. So let's just do it.
When me and Brad first met, I didn't think we'd get along, but turns out we kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important thing. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
So, this so far, initial inspections. I just realized I don't have any mods going, so I need to show stuff when it should be shown. A bit quiet, really? Really? Hang on, let me fiddle with the. Oh wait, no, you don't mean me. You mean the video. Oh, I know why it's quiet. It's quiet because it's set to gaming. All right, let's go from the start, just so it's a bit more audible. And when I upload the video, cut here.
When me and Brad first met, I didn't think we'd get along, but turns out we kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important thing. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me.
So hopefully we heard that now. Now, I think this premise here is actually faulty in that it is not accurately conveying the views of necessarily either side. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to talk for the right. I'm going to talk for fuck the left, right? I don't think any leftist or anyone that is anyone that's progressive thinks that that racial identity is the most important thing.
We'd get along, but turns out we kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important.
I don't think that anyone. I don't think most progressives, particularly progressives that are able to speak eloquently or rationally on the subject of race, I don't think they believe that.
Everything should be looked.
That one. See, this is the other thing, right? I get a lot of. I see a lot of kickback, particularly when people want to divorce things like race or gender or politics from issues and say that, well, it's not a political issue. It's, you know, it has nothing to do with politics. It's personal choice or something like that. A good example is games. I'm a fucking gamer. I'm a weeb. I like to game. Hopefully I've been streaming long enough to swear. And like they'll say a game's not political. Everything's political in the sense that politics is a lens through which you can view or critique any interaction in society or any media that you might come across. So this I agree with, actually. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race, because it should also be looked at through the lens of gender, through the lens of sex, through the lens of socioeconomic station, through the lens of, economic. Basically, lenses are things you apply to circumstances or to issues in order to understand them in that context and sort of build up a holistic viewpoint that you can then make decisions on based on all the different aspects that may come into play when we're talking about something. So when we're looking at how someone is able to live their life, race is one of those very important factors that we should use that lens to investigate how that affects their life and how it might impact things. Same goes for things like gender, sex, and all that sort of stuff. Because the funny thing is, right, the lens of race I can apply to my own life, and I can actually see that it's something that's affected me. Something very simple, like having let's call it an exotic name. You all know me as Sam. Sam is short for a non-white name, and it has caused some hijinks. So, for example, when I was in grade 10, I went to a science camp in QUT, and I got billeted with 2 girls, sisters. Got to stay at their house, got to basically have a sleepover. Lucky the parents were cool with it. This was about 15 years old for us Aussies when we were in grade 10. And it was fantastic. But it is an example of when we look at things about race, such as, how naming conventions can differ, it can affect how we are treated or the outcomes we have in life. A less cool or poggers example being that, about 5 years after I did my initial studies at university, in Australia, when you go study, you are eligible to get was called at the time youth allowance. It's probably still called youth allowance. And it basically is, benefits that support you while you study. Not enough to do that completely, but at least enough to, not mean you are going to die in a gutter while you try to get an education. Now, because again, my name was exotic and had characters in it that were non-alpha characters, they were like apostrophes and hyphens and all that sort of garbage. Centrelink, 5-6 years later, the government arm that is in charge of those benefits, they were unable to match my name with my university provider because of those characters that don't go in every database, that not every form lets you put those characters in when you're filling out digital paperwork. And because of that, they charged me $10,000. So my race has had an impact on my life, and losing $10,000 when you're in your mid-20s is actually pretty significant. And that sort of set me quite far back in my life, quite a bit. So, I mean, that's something that's impacted me. Now, I'm not saying that it's defining my life. I'm not saying that it ruined my life. I'm not saying that it is the most important thing that's ever happened to me. But it is something that is part of my experience that should be looked at in the lens of race because it has had an impact. So I agree with that. We're starting to ramble on a little bit there. But look, they're just two personal examples, and I think most people could probably think of examples where they've been advantaged or disadvantaged by the fact that race plays a part in our social interactions with people. Funnily enough, I also put my white passing name on my resume because I am worried that putting my full legal name would disadvantage me because it either comes off as feminine and comes off as foreign, which... studies are very clear in the fact that that does have a drag effect. Both of those things have a drag effect on your success when compared with equally qualified or skilled people. So your actions are what define you, not the color of your skin. Now that is true, but that's not a response, I think, to the fact that your race does reflect how others treat you. Or how systems treat you. So particularly when we take away, you hear the social construct line a lot, and there'll be pushback against the social construct in that, well, there are no racist laws or there are no racist institutions because none of those things actually say that non-white people get 20% less minimum wage. But what they do is things like I was saying with automatic systems. So one of the first times I traveled internationally, I purchased a ticket online. And when I put in my name, it drops off the unique characters, so the hyphens and the apostrophes. Now, when you actually get to an airport and you are showing your ticket to actually progress through immigration and customs and things like that, if your name is not exactly to the dot what appears on your passport, which is what is on your ticket, you can actually be denied access to, or you could be denied entry to the airport, and you won't get your flight. Now, I was lucky in that people saw that as unreasonable, and they took steps to intervene, and they allowed me to do a name change on that ticket. But that was someone that had to create an exception to a rule set up by a system that's in place that does discriminate against people that are not using white names. So I personally think that I've experienced examples of both. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sitting up here. I'm on stream. You can see my face. I am 100% white passing until it comes to things where it's my name written down on a place. And that's, I think, what makes it a lot easier personally for me to understand that, race is something that comes up quite often for people that are not white passing because it's quite stark to me when it happens. It's funny, when I was younger, I used to get a lot more, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Sydney originally, and I've lived in Harvey Bay. No. Where are your parents from? It's, kind of sucks. But hey, it's fine. We can deal with it, but we need to understand these interactions happen. And I think using the lens of race to understand these interactions help us to actually empathize with people more effectively and to understand that everyone's having different experiences through society through these different things. So let's keep going.
Get through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. We both have a lot of opinions about people of color, even though we barely know any.
I say colored people, but as long as we're classifying them, we both think minorities are a united.
An assumption built into that, I don't know if it's worth responding to. The idea that wokes don't know people of color, that's a pretty intense assumption. I mean, it's an assumption for the opposite, for the right wing too, so whatever. But yeah, I'm going to big red cross against that one, boys.
United group who think the same and act the same.
And vote the same. You don't want to lose your black card. Sorry, I don't know. I just think we should roll that.
When there's two parties, of course, people on the left and the right will vote for the same parties. That's going to be even more in America than in Australia, whereas in Australia, we at least have preferential voting. So I could vote for, say, the Greens, knowing that they're not going to win, but at least my vote will then go to Labor, which is preferable to me over the Liberal Party. Again, a non-point. This is all fluff, isn't it? This is all going to be garbage that's just talking points that don't actually mean anything, but just cosmetically sound like they're the same.
Back discrimination laws.
Wait.
We can hire based on race again. Jinx. Now.
I don't think there are any progressive... Okay. So clearly they're signposting here positive discrimination laws or quotas. Now, broadly speaking, my experience, or at least what I understand when being in a corporate culture, is not that there are laws or policies put in place to hire based on race, but from a progressive standpoint, what is being sought after are ways to ensure that the hiring process is actually based on merit and that we discount things that are providing unfair advantages to a particular group of people. So, for example, I said earlier, and I take my full legal name off my resume and I use my white passing name. So, it is Sam, the white half of my last name. One of the really interesting ideas that I've come across or heard talked about is the idea that to help ensure that hiring process is fair and equitable is to actually remove identifying information off resumes and off the application progress as a whole. So for example, my name wouldn't appear. You might take all my contact details off my resume and it would just be sent to the selection panel or the hiring panel with the relevant information on my skills and experience. They don't need to know it's Sam blah. They don't need to know my gender, my age, or anything like that. All they need to know is my experience and my skills. And that would help alleviate that. So that's an example to me of a good faith law that would look at rolling back discrimination laws to the point where even laws that discriminate without intending to, that's not the right way to phrase it. Basically, I don't think any real See, this is the no Scotsman fallacy sometimes, which is difficult because I know you're going to find someone on Twitter who is going to say there needs to be a law that says, the diversity pool of a company needs to reflect the community that they exist within. So, for example, if you've got a company that's in Australia, there needs to be 51% women and they need to be reflected throughout every level of the company from the top to the bottom. I get the pushback against that, but I understand as well that the other side isn't saying the law must be set so you hit those numbers. Like it shouldn't be that there is quotas that must be maintained. Like that's not addressing the root cause. The root cause of the issue might be the fact that there are two different ways. So here's another example, actually. Between men and women, now the numbers here might be wrong, but the general principle here is accurate and valid. But a man will apply for a job when they meet 60% of the requirements on average, whereas a woman will apply for a job only when they meet 90% of the requirements on average. So that's an example of something where men are applying for jobs more aggressively, and so therefore they are taking more shots, and so they're more likely to progress up the pole. Now that's obviously going to depend quite drastically on which company you're talking about, which industry we're talking about, and the practices and cultures that change in those little ways there. But broadly speaking, that's a trend that was observed. That can be addressed through, putting into place policies that ensure that things like the job ads are actually more accurately describing actual requirements of the role, so that people that are applying for it they understand that, well, I only get 60% of the requirements. That'll be fine. Well, 40% of those things in the job ads therefore weren't actually requirements. They were just things that were highly desirable, and maybe addressing some of those where they're not true requirements of the role are being presented as requirements. Look, it's hard to solve, but I think it's an example that that's what progressive policy is trying to achieve. It's trying to remove barriers to minorities and allow them to compete on equal footing with someone that has all the potential advantages of being what people think of when they think of a successful person. God, that was so
You owe me a Coke. Hey, tell him what you told me yesterday.
White actors should only do voices for white cartoon characters.
I've been saying that for years. Stick to your own.
Us white people.
So here's the equivocation that I've actually got more of an issue with. So this is sort of skewing into culture wars. Well, I suppose this is all culture war bullshit, isn't it? There's an equivocation here that addressing white people that are playing a multitude of roles versus providing opportunities for other people of other races to portray characters of that race. The issue is that white actors currently have a foothold in the industry, right? Hollywood has been around for decades? What did it start, like 1920s or something? And it's been dominated by white actors ever since its inception. Now we're getting to the point where people are expecting more diverse representation, particularly when we see things that are, set in other countries with characters that are actually other races, and expecting that there's a positive pressure to actually start to broaden the talent range of actors that are capable of playing those roles will only actually happen if they start getting those roles in the first place. So you might argue, for example, Scarlett Johansson, she played Major Kusanagi in Ghost in the Shell. Now, I didn't see that movie. Now, the reason I didn't see it had nothing to do with the drama around whitewashing for Major Kusanagi or anything. It was just, I wasn't interested in a live adaptation of Ghost in the Shell because the original anime is so tightly wound to the art style and just the surrealness of the setting that they can achieve through the art that I was dubious that the movie could do it justice, so I skipped it. Now, maybe I should watch it just to determine whether or not I was right, but hey, that was my gut feeling. I did still, however, think that it was a shame that Major Kusanagi was played by someone who was white. Now, Scarlett Johansson is a fantastic actor. I quite like her in a lot of her roles. I still need to go see Black Widow. But I think that getting someone that was appropriate for that role would have been better for the movie. In saying that, is Ghost in the Shell, is it even set in Japan or is it set in America? I don't even know that. That's how little interest I had in it. And I think it's a shame that, we lose some of the... See, I want to say diversity, because when I say diversity, I think of, a broad range of unique and interesting ways to view the world and to understand other people and to understand ideas that may be a foreign concept to us and our experiences. Whereas I know other people might hear me say, there needs to be more diversity, and they think of, just putting in people in there just because of the color of their skin. But it's not. It's about representing experiences that are unique and different and, interesting. So I love anime, right? Absolutely adore it. It's about the only thing I watch apart from things like 30 Rock and Simpsons and stuff when I'm putting on something during dinner to watch with my partner. But, if I'm in bed waiting to go to sleep and I want to put something on, I'll scroll through all the anime in the world. Now, one of the things I love the most about anime is that it is, particularly when I first started watching it, an alien experience when it comes to the society that's reflected in the ideas that are, explored, the themes that they use in their media. And I think that's great. absolutely love it because I get bored to death when I watch media that is Caucasian because I'm racist against whites. No. But I think there's some value in making sure that all that range of things is reflected. I feel like I'm off the topic again. Holy shit, we are through 32 seconds. We need to rush. Well, not rush, but yeah. It is set in Japan. See, that's even worse. You know what? Where's the quartering? I need to tell the quartering that there should have been a Japanese actor in Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell is such a fantastic anime. Don't let the Western adaptation ruin it. Funnily enough, actually, that reminds me. Back in the old days, when I was a teenager, before I had status and before I had a pager, one of the first animes I watched was called The Guyver. Not MacGyver, The Guyver. And it was one of those animes where like some alien tech landed on Earth and a kid got it and he could turn into the Guyver, which was like this bio-boosted armor. And we got so excited when we saw it Blockbuster Video, kids, ask your parents, and we saw that there was a movie of the Guyver, live action movie. And the main character, Sho Fukamachi, was renamed Sean. I forget his last name, but it was cringy. It was kind of like Power Rangers, but rated MA with gore because they used like these Power Rangers suits basically for bad guys. It was funny. So look, it's not new. Hopefully it's something that's going to stop happening over time. But hey, I guess the main point here is I think that the woke has a point here, and I don't think the racist does. Because I think the racist here going, well, you know what? A white person should be able to play any role. You know, we need to make space for diversity. I don't think that's unfair.
People, we have so much privilege.
I agree. It is a privilege to be white. Ask him about interracial dating.
Wait, what?
White actors should only do voices for white
okay.
cartoon characters.
I've been saying that for years. Stick to your own.
Us white people, we have so much privilege.
He's saying privilege in that we need to give it up, and the other guy's
agree.
like,
It is a privilege to be white.
I'm proud. Two different things. Again, so this is, they're just using the same word, but they mean different things because he's talking about privilege and he's talking about pride. Okay. I don't like this. I think this is, why did my lights change? My routine worked. I'm setting up a smart home. The Guyver is cool. Yeah, I like the Guyver. Anyway, there's a 2005 version of the Guyver that is garbage because it went from being rated MA and being intensely gory to being like M and implied gore. No good.
Ask him about interracial dating.
All I said is that black men who date white women have internalized racism, and white men that date ethnic women are...
Is that the woke person saying that? I actually can't tell without seeing his shirt. I'm assuming the woke's always on the left.
All I said is that black men who date white women have internalized racism, and white men that date ethnic women are fetishizing them.
Guys against interracial dating now. Like,
I've never seen that represented as a woke ideology by anyone.
am I being pranked? Did Boomer put you up to this?
Ugh, you know that taco place is white owned?
White people should be making white foods like Kraft macaroni and cheese, no seasoning, not even salt.
Funny story. A lot of sushi places are owned by Koreans. I don't know why that's a funny story, but I mean, maybe this is part of the white centrism that people see when it comes to issues of race, as if it's always white versus other. I can be down with that because there's a lot of racism that occurs outside the white sphere. We just happen to be at the center of it because, you know, presumably everyone speaking English in my chat is within a white society.
It's like he's a mind reader.
Saying
I mean,
white
I've been
too
pushing
much.
for segregation forever, and my man does what?
I created an improv...
It's like he's...
God, he kind of sounds like he's chewing white while he talks.
White people should be making white foods like Kraft macaroni and cheese, no seasoning, not even salt. It's like he's a mind reader.
White people have no taste. It's kind of true, but yeah. I've been to Britain. I know the food shit over there.
I mean, I've been pushing for segregation forever, and my man does what?
Okay, to be fair, I don't think I've seen many racists without going to the complete Richard Spencer alt-right. I think your garden variety racists aren't trying to get segregation. At least not explicit. They're trying to get implicit segregation by like ensuring that cheap housing doesn't get built near their fucking properties. Well, there you go, Davros. You'd have a robust idea of all this stuff then.
Created an improv comedy show exclusively for ethnic people.
Guy segregates comedy on my birthday.
White people need to stop wearing
Sorry, what?
show exclusively for ethnic people.
Segregation
comedy
forever,
show.
and my man does what?
I created an improv comedy show exclusively for ethnic people.
So is that a reference to something that happened that was a specific instance of someone doing something with god-awful optics, and it's being represented here as a broad woke ideology? That's all I can assume. I mean,
Guy segregates comedy on my birthday.
White people need to stop wearing dreadlocks and they need to stop appropriating black people's music.
Shaved heads and country.
okay, I'm a rapper, so well, I was a rapper, so I guess I can't speak to that. But again, I feel like they're conflating when people are adopting cultures, not just things like music or style. Although I did see on TikTok there was some threads where there was a lot of pushback against white women using dreadlocks and them saying, no, you should be using like these Viking versions of dreadlocks or something. I abstain from that one.
Music, the way God intended.
You know all white people are racist.
I'm listening.
Even
True. Everyone's racist.
if you have a black wife or a black friend group, you're still really racist.
You know, we just kicked a guy out of the organization for having a black girlfriend, but if you can promise me he's still really racist, we'll consider letting him back in. Black people should only shop at black businesses.
How? Okay, there's no way this is done in good faith. Davros, mate, I would not presume to understand your particular experiences, but I will say I think some of the stuff that I come across, again, myself being white passing, now my heritage is not indigenous. My heritage is Tongan, so Pacific Islander. You know, kind of sucks sometimes, but hey.
I guess.
What is this? Black people should only shop at black businesses. Like, I haven't seen that. What I have seen, and what I think they're alluding to, is the idea that they're trying to increase support of black businesses, not to create an exclusive segregation of you will only shop at black businesses. Funnily enough, doing that is actually also a really good, strong social and economic good for your local area, because that means you're probably shopping local, and it means you're probably shopping for things that are not being created by big box, fuck off, capitalist bullshit stores like Jerry Harvey's Harvey Norman or Walmart or Best Buy or whatever the fuck you want to go with. Sainsbury's, is it Sainsbury's? No. John Lewis. Sorry, I'm trying to involve everyone here. So you know what? Yeah, shop at black businesses, shop at local businesses, shop at small businesses. And I'm a hypocrite because I just bought something at Bunnings. But anyway, like that's not a bad take. The only bad take is where they make it into something that doesn't exist, which is only black people should shop at only black businesses. Oh man, I should have bought some water.
That's the only thing we really disagree about is I think white people are the root of all evil.
But what did I tell you, though? If we can narrow that down to a certain group of tiny...
Again, I keep getting caught off guard by the woke idiot saying something and me not realizing, oh shit, that's a woke idea that I'm supposed to actually respond to.
I think white people are the root of all evil.
But what did I tell you, though? If we can narrow that down to a certain group of tiny-hatted white people, I think we can...
Oh, the Jews. Wait, no, I didn't say that. YouTube, no. Here's the thing, right? Now, I say this as white passing. I accept my white heritage. I accept my matrilineal genealogy. White people have done some of the most immediate, horrible things to people that are still, or cultures that are still recovering. Talking explicitly about within our society. So in Australia, we've got the lost generation. America, I'll let you guys decide what you've got. Britain, I don't know. Oh, wait. Yeah, look, we've all got our baggage. And I think the straw man here for the woke person is that we are the root of all evil, as opposed to accepting that, you know, in the past, people that looked like us did horrible things to people that look different. And we should accept that, but we shouldn't feel guilty for that. What we should only feel guilty for is if we dismiss that and go, well, it wasn't me, so it's not my problem. I'm not saying sorry. I can be sorry for something that happened to you, even if I didn't do that to you. Now, that's a very close example for Australia, where we have things like, is it National Sorry Week or Day? One of the two. Or there was this whole reconciliation push. When was it? Back in 2000, I forget what year it was, where one of our prime ministers actually said sorry to the Indigenous people because of the things that had been done to them by Australia, the country, the people, all that sort of stuff. So I think acknowledging that evil was done in our name, even if it wasn't by us, I think is worthwhile. I can never forget the fact that here in Australia, whenever you see a street called Boundary Street, and they're common. There's a Boundary Street not far from me. It's like, probably a 10-minute walk from where I am. Oh, shit, doxed. Except there are so many of those fucking streets that that's not going to help anyone with anything. And I might be wrong about the distance. But that Boundary Street is the boundary that Indigenous people could go to without actually getting written permission to travel any further. Like, that still exists. That's still sitting here with that name in this place. A horrible testament to the horrible things that we've done as white people. So, you know what? I think we should accept that horrible things were done in our name, and fucking make it better. Like, I don't see how that is controversial. I know there are people that will push back against that will defend colonialism, that will defend things that represent colonialism, like, statues of Captain Cook, and pretend that that's more important than moving forward as a diverse culture with diverse people. But I don't know. Somehow that is controversial. Because apparently we'll lose our history if all the statues get taken down. It's not like they're written in books. It's not like they still don't get taught in school when people go through the fucking history of Australia. But apparently that's an issue. Kevin Rudd, of course it was. I thought it was. But I didn't want to say something wrong on stream. Good old
Come
Kevin.
to an understanding.
Technically, I don't consider Jewish people white.
Neither do I.
Some pretty hard anti-Semitism to end the video with. 4 million views, and they got a Patreon, the Boys Cast. The Boys Cast. Okay, so I didn't know the guy's politics before starting. I suspect he is conservative, or he's a liberal in the American sense. That is really on the right, just because the Overton windows moved so fucking far. So what is it? 4.8 million views! Fuck. We're just going to move the mic over here a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just get rid of my head. And of course, my thing doesn't work. There we go. I'll get rid of my head so I can lean forward a bit. This is funny, but deeper than most people will ever care to comprehend. Well done. It's not fucking deep. Wait, who is that? Is that someone? Canadian prepper. Oh, it's a prepper. Of course it's a fucking prepper. Okay, I don't care about your opinion anymore. Horseshoe theory is bullshit. Alright, we're not going to go through all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't like that video. I'm sad that it's being shared again. I think it is just this. It's the same talking points that have evolved into the anti-critical race theory culture war, I guess, that's happening in America especially. I think it's happening a little bit in Australia from what I can tell as well, except, we're getting fucked over by the coronavirus again. That probably sounds hilarious to some of you who have, dealt with hundreds and hundreds of cases per day at some point, and we're dealing with, it has been over 100 for a couple of days and back down to 97. It's the same talking points, isn't it? Like, critical race theory will argue that, people against critical race theory will argue that you're making everything about race. And that was one of the points here. Everything's about race. God, it's depressing. A year this has gone on, and it's still apparently relevant. Nathaniel. Okay. The JQ is a part of being woke. This is how you lose your YouTube channel, by making stupid jokes like that. But yeah, Ryan. Okay, now let's. The Boys cast with Ryan Long. Ryan Long comedy. Actually, you know what? What's he been up to recently? Let's have a quick look.
3 governors once revered by the public.
Fuck off. If American politics were a couple. Okay. Let's watch one more video. Fuck it. My partner's out. Feminist mom catcalls men. Should we do gender issues? We're all too old to be wrecking property. Citizen mask inspector. Fuck, there was a place in Australia that was going viral-ish because they put up there's a few places in Sydney where the fucking outbreak is happening at the moment, where businesses have been putting up signs saying, we will not ask you for details about why you're not wearing a mask. So feel free to not wear a mask if you have an exemption. Here's a list of all the exemptions. And those motherfuckers are spreading Delta variant. And I swear to God, if that gets out of fucking New South Wales, not happy. All right, let's do some movie stuff.
Okay, guys, thanks for coming in. I mean, as you know, we haven't had a hit movie in a while, so excited to hear what you have for me.
Female Happy Gilmore, female Rambo, and Avengers but gay.
Okay.
I have some ideas.
Why? It's so brain dead. Like, Ghostbusters 2016 was fucking 5 years ago. The meme of women remakes is over. They're just fucking movies. Captain Marvel happened. It was fucking successful. I need to find a chat option. If anyone has any ideas of how to show big text chat on an iPad, let me know. Because it's like my chat is all the way over here, so my framing on my webcam is decent, and I can't really read it, and it's, yeah. Accessibility YouTube. All right, let's keep going. Women movies.
Yeah, I would like to hear more about this gay Avengers. Maybe a gay sex scene, a couple Avengers smooching.
Or picture this, gender swap Beauty and the Beast.
About a guy dating a girl that's just a beast.
Or Exit Wounds 2 starring a woman who's recovering from giving birth.
A real hero.
How about a movie? It takes place during the Holocaust.
Little white, moving on.
Little white. Okay, I have a.
Wait, what?
Takes place during the Holocaust.
Little white, moving on.
Little white. Okay, I have a thriller. It's about a brother who mysteriously murders his sister while he's under the influence of hallucinogenic.
Now this brother, is he bi or brown?
Let's not rule out the possibility that he's a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like this
Also,
guy.
recently I've been chewing the fat on ninja girdles.
That's good.
Who's excited for the He-Man remake? They did She-Ra first, which is basically gender swap He-Man. I would like to finish that Netflix show, actually, but I am looking forward to the He-Man reboot. Yeah, I've got a Samsung. I got the iPad because I just wanted to put my feet into the ecosystem. I did compare it with a Samsung Tab S7, and I went with the iPad. Why did I go for the iPad? Mostly for LiDAR, if I'm honest.
And I don't want to impede on your creative process here, but have we considered a feature-length reboot of Last Man Standing, but instead of Tim Allen featuring a woman that hates...
What was the last movie I saw? The last movie I saw at the cinema. Shit, what was it? I think... Oh, you know what it was? It was the wife's bodyguards... Shit. The one that's got Samuel L. Jackson... Selma Hayek and Thingamabob. Oh fuck, Deadpool. That had 2 men and a woman. The Hitman's wife's bodyguard. That's what it was. Yep. I got to see it 1 week before it went out to release because I was awesome, or at least one of my friends was awesome. But I suppose that's exactly what this meme is about. They put a woman in the Hitman's bodyguard, didn't they?
hates Tim Allen.
You want to reboot that piece of shit Tim Allen show into a movie? Look, I have some really fresh ideas. Why are you guys on?
Okay, listen, Ethan, reboots, sequels, gender swaps, that's what we do here. We remake the movies, put them on the screen, and they stuff their fat faces with popcorn like the hogs that they are.
Get with the times, bro.
You know, this is probably why...
This is, yeah, something.
There's more films
Nathan, the things that are happening in America and getting through like Republican held like states is fuck. Like, I wish I could talk about that stuff genuinely. Being an Australian, it feels a bit like, you know what? There's plenty of people in America that can deal with that, but fucking hell, the heartbeat bills, the fucking what else was I listening to today that had stuff? The people waiting for Roe vs. Wade to just fucking make abortion completely illegal.
Than you. You know, we're already working on his female adaptation of the Three Stooges, Terry, Shirley, and
So this is one joke that is being expanded to an entire skit.
Chloe. But
Clever.
instead of getting up to
Insightful.
antics, they're all female ethical CEOs.
That sounds awful.
I'm producing that.
Batman but a woman.
Spider-Man but a woman.
Whoa,
Did you just think of
Is
that?
that yours?
No, it's not anybody's. You can't just replace man and
Batwoman and Spider-Woman do exist. Let's just be clear, they both exist.
woman. And plus, there's already Catwoman.
I'm sorry, did I say Catwoman?
I didn't hear Catwoman.
I never said that. Although, hold on, that does spark
Let
an
him work.
idea. Catman.
Female cat.
That isn't good.
But if we did do this Batwoman collaboration you guys have been working on, and this isn't gonna be like a baseball thing, is it?
Rich parents think she's a bat.
Although if we did do a baseball thing, perhaps major...
Pick an actor just because their name sounds like another actor. Charlize Theron's a huge star.
That's a good idea, Ethan. What about Fast and the Furious 13 starring an Asian American
You can't make Fast and the Furious any worse than it actually is.
actress, Ying Diesel?
I love this Ying Diesel idea.
Wait, you're just gonna cast someone based on what their name sounds
Yeah,
like?
people are accustomed to seeing Diesel in the credits. If you understood marketing, I don't...
Okay.
Who was it? This actually used to happen in martial arts films. You'd get Bruce Lee, but it would be spelt differently. And like I presume that their name probably still wasn't Bruce Lee, even if it was like Leigh or something. But yeah, they do that, I'm assuming, to try and get the grandmas who are buying like, oh, they like Bruce Lee, I'll get them a Bruce Lee DVD for $5 from the reject shop.
Do either of you know an actor named Ying Diesel?
No.
No, but we do know a Yang, and I'm pretty sure they'll change their name. I mean, actors will do anything.
What? Okay, look, if you're so
So easy to shit on actors, isn't it? They're just doing a fucking job.
obsessed with race stuff, how about this? I have an option on an adaptation of a book. It's a movie about a person who infiltrates the Ku Klux Klan in the 1960s.
Girl American History X, I already think it.
It's not Girl American History X.
Okay, but if we did do Ethan's film, Girl American History X, what if the girls just weren't racist the whole time?
Goes trans, goes to prison, turns prisoners on racist.
Yeah, we still want to probably have the scene where the girl beats a bunch of black guys at basketball. That'd be quintessential.
Are we still talking about Spider-Woman?
I don't know what I'm
Or
doing
Is
anymore.
Ethan making two movies?
I'm not making any movies. You know what? Fuck this. I'm moving to Austin and starting a craft beer company.
Austin.
Thin flower.
All right, I'm sorry for wasting everyone's time with that. Oh, no, hide the backdrop. Hide the backdrop. You didn't see my pervy anime backdrop. Desktop. No, stop. Sorry, it's delayed down on the tab. Look, I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to jump in to share some thoughts, particularly on that first video, because I had seen it on TikTok. It doesn't seem like... Yeah, see, that video about women in movies, lol, which hasn't been part of the mainstream culture war for fucking years, unless you're the fucking quartering, only got, 133k views? So, yeah. Their relevancy is slipping.
3 governors.
Let's close that down again. Anyway, I'm bored with them. I probably bored you all by playing that much of that video, so I'm probably going to log off for now. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. It was an impromptu stream, so it's nice to see that people dropped by to hang out. I'm probably either going to play some video games or draw, or maybe even stream some video games. it was fun. So I'll catch you all later. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is. It'll be fun to see because, funnily enough, my subscription increasing rate has been just as much without me making any content. So we'll see if it slows down that I've made content, if people are subscribing on the premise of something possibly good. But it's kind of like when you open up the box and you find out whether, anyway, I don't know. Schrodinger's subscribers. Let's see if it's real. Take it easy, everyone, and I'll catch you guys around on the web. I should look at the camera and eyeball so it makes it look like I'm creating a parasocial relationship with you in particular.